Hey guys! Today in the Quick Anime, I will explain the first two episodes of an anime, where several people show up without their memories in a bar and end up making games. Attention! Spoiler alert ahead! The anime starts with two elevators going underground. The elevator on the right leaves a woman named Machiko, and from the left, a man named Takashi. They are a couple, and when they see each other, they ask each other about how they got there. But neither of them knows how they got there. The two see a hallway with a red carpet on the floor, and Takashi leads the way while Machiko follows. The two soon see a bar with a white-haired man in a suit behind the bar. He welcomes them to Queen Desim and says his name is Desim, and he introduces himself as the bartender and asks if they remember anything. They both answer no, and Takashi only says he remembers they were on a honeymoon trip. Machiko says he remembers that too. Takashi asks which place is that, and Desim replies that he will explain a few things. He says that he cannot answer where they are, and that they are going to play a game, and that game will be chosen by a roulette wheel, and that in that game, they bet their lives. He also says that they cannot leave the bar until the game is over. They thought it was silly, and went back to the elevator, but he didn't respond. They start walking around the place looking for a way out but find nothing. They go back to the counter and ask where the exit is. And Desim says again that there's no way for them to leave. Takashi asks what would happen if they didn't play. Then the wall behind Desim opens up, showing several bodies hanging from the ceiling. The two are scared to see, and Desim says that when they press the button, a game will be chosen. The two decide to do what Desim says, as they have no way of knowing what he will do to them. Then Takashi presses the button, and a board with several square parts begins to glow until one is chosen and has the word DART written on it. An explosion occurs next to them. Then two pillars appear with a colored target on them and a score of 501 on top. In the middle of the targets appears a beating heart, and in the other parts appear eyes, muscles, and organs. Desim says that each part of the target is connected to their nervous system, and when they hit the parts, they will feel pain in the part where the target is connected. Machiko gets scared, and Takashi tries to calm her down, and says that if something happens, he'll fix it himself. Desim then says the game is started. Takashi starts, and just shoots the dart at the target. When it hits, Machiko falls to the ground, feeling pain in his shoulder. Takashi goes to her and starts to examine her. She says that it was a slight pain and it had passed. Then she gets up and says that now it's her turn. Takashi's score is now 495. Machiko throws the dart, and when it hits, Takashi feels an immense pain in his chest. And he opens his shirt, desperate to see if there's something on his body. But he doesn't see anything. He runs towards Desim and says he's a doctor, and he doesn't see any signs of surgery on them, so how could this be happening? Desim just replies that there's nothing. They're just betting their lives, and also says that if he wants to, he doesn't have to get it right so they won't feel pain. But Machiko will win, as she has 483 points now. He comes back and tells her that if they make a mistake, they won't feel any more pain. Machiko then says that Takashi will lose the game, but he says he doesn't care about that. They start to miss all the darts on purpose when Takashi takes the second to last one. He thinks he can turn one of those bodies, so he throws the dart, putting more force by accident, and ends up causing pain to Machiko, who spits blood. He apologizes, and Machiko says it's okay. She gets up and shoots the dart, but spits blood on the spot, causing it to hit the target, causing Takashi's eye pain, who falls to the ground, and after getting up angrily, intends to throw the last dart at the target. But Machiko says not to shoot him in the belly, and says that his son is there. Takashi remembers that she was always sleeping before the honeymoon, and that explains why, and then asks how long. She replies that 10 weeks, and wanted to tell him during the trip. He smiles and prepares to miss the target, but remembers a conversation he overheard, so he throws the dart and hits it inadvertently, causing his stomach to ache. She says she could have hurt the baby. Takashi then says he remembers the conversation of two of Machiko's friends, saying that Machi is lucky and can get men, and is now going to marry a doctor. He asks her to admit that she was cheating on him, but Machiko refuses. So Takashi takes Machiko's dart and asks if he can use someone else's dart. Desim answers yes, and whoever gets it right now wins, as they both have 475. He says Machi never loses. Machiko then stands up and says that Machi was the nickname of a friend of hers who married a doctor but still had contact with her old boyfriend. He doesn't believe it, and Machiko says she never lied to him. He runs to her, and without wanting to shove the dart into her, which infuriates her, Machiko takes the dart from his hand and prepares to throw. Takashi pulls her aim, making her throw the dart and hit the center, where the heart is, making Takashi spit blood and fall. Machiko remembers all the times they were together. Even if remember, they were in the car and her husband tried to pick up her ringing phone, and then the car fell off a cliff. Desum applauds, saying Machiko won, and Takashi asks if he can't do it again, but Machiko says it doesn't matter, and that they are already dead. Desum says it's true, people go to heaven and hell, and Queen Desum is where he decides that. Takashi asks Desum to help them since he is a god, but Desum says he is just a judge. Takashi tells Machiko that the child is not his, and that she must admit it soon. Machiko remembers how he met Takashi, and then starts to walk away and laughs, and says that it was true, and that he was really cheating on him. Takashi gets angry and runs towards her with darts. Desum stops him by creating several wires that hold Takashi from doing something, and says that the game is over. Takashi passes out on the wires, while Machiko lies on the floor, hands over her face. Desum takes them each to an elevator, and the doors close. The other episode begins with a woman waking up on top of an altar of leaves. Nona appears saying good morning to her and asks what her name is. Woman doesn't know what to say, and Nona says it's okay because she doesn't have a name. They take the train to an elevator, and Nona says they are going to the 15th floor. The elevator, Clavis, greets them in the elevator and takes them to Desum's floor. When they arrive there, Desum introduces himself to the woman, and she asks what location that is. Nona replies that this is where the dead go to be judged by the judges, who are the bartenders. Nona calls the woman to a location and says that 2 people will arrive. The woman then asks why she is there, and Nona replies that she is the assistant, and the 2 enter a room with several mannequins on the ceiling. And then a wall opens, and they see Machiko and Takashi looking scared into the room. She asks why they show this, and Nona says it's to deceive them, and that they won't bet their lives if they know they're already dead, and that will put them in an extreme condition where they reveal the darkness in their hearts. And that's where the judgment starts. It also says that they receive the memories of everyone who arrives there, but that they can't judge just using them as a basis, and that's why they do it. After the walls close in, they go to another location and see them throwing darts. Nona explains that they died in an accident on their honeymoon because Takashi thought Machiko was unfaithful. When Takashi hits the dart at the target and makes Machiko fall to the ground with a pain in her stomach, Nona says the memories are coming back and they're getting unfocused. As soon as the game ends, Nona says that that place is where it is decided which soul will go to the void and which soul will be reincarnated. They are the judges who decide that. Machiko starts to distance herself and cry to herself, and the woman sees it. Machiko then laughs and says that he loved another and betrayed him. The scene cuts as the elevators close in front of Desum. The 2 arrive at the place, and Desum asks the woman how it was. She replies that it was horrible, and asks where each one went. Nona replies that Takashi was reincarnated, and Machiko went into the void. And the woman then said that she wanted to ask Desum questions. She asked if Machiko was really cheating on Takashi, and Desum said yes. Then the woman says it was just a one-night stand and that the child was Takashi's. Desum asks why if she herself said it wasn't. The woman then explains that Machiko was always bothered by Takashi's comments, and that she was very sad before because Takashi says that the child was not his. Desum asks why she lied. The woman responds by saying that she used the lie to take the blame off Takashi, who thought he killed his own son, even though it made him hate her. Desum then understands that if Takashi hadn't misunderstood they would both be living happily. Desum asks Nona if he made a mistake. She pulls him away and gives Desum a short lecture. The 2 sit at the counter and have a drink. Before Nona leaves, the woman asks what an assistant does, and Nona tells her to keep doing the same. In the elevator, Clavis asks Nona how it went, and she replies that it was normal. And Clavis says it's rare to see Nona not looking down on them. Nona then thinks that Takashi made more than a misunderstanding, as he had a hard time trusting others, and he would never achieve happiness, and because of his fault, both their lives were over. Nona then says that the woman has a lot to learn. The scene cuts to Desum and the woman talking, and Desum apologizes for the misunderstanding, and says it's a fault as a judge. The woman smiles, and asks him to make her another drink. So Desum makes her another drink. If you showed up to this bar with no memories, and they asked you to play some kind of game with someone else betting your life, would you dare to play? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell to receive notification of the next videos here at Summarizing Animes. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.